Hello, and welcome back to the Tea and a Butty podcast. I'm Dominic.
And I'm Erica.
And today we're going to be talking about some of the TV, film, and, well, the music that we've been listening to.
We're continuing on with our new
This
format.
is the theme now, and it's better now because, you know, we've got a bit focused. We're not just kind of going, oh, what should we talk about?
Yeah.
This is the TV, film,
music
/ music
week.
We watched a couple, and some of them aren't new. Well, a lot of them aren't new, actually. We've got about 3 things.
None of them were new. I don't think.
None of them were new. We don't watch it. Far too modern for me.
None of the ones we're going to talk about are new.
Yeah.
So
we'll talk about the Grammys a bit later as well. So
yeah,
if you want to know what happened at the Grammys, we've got you covered, and you didn't watch it. Yeah. So yeah, I started this, and I think I saw it somewhere. Because I got, over Christmas, I got this gift subscription to Britbox. Because, you know, Britbox, me being a Brit, being away from home, want to watch the old telly box, don't we?
Yeah.
Watch the old goggle box.
It's too bad, though, that it's not like everything that's on iPlayer or something like that.
Well, no, the BBC have pulled out of it now.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. I mean, there's some old BBC stuff on there, but most of it is ITV.
Yeah. And most of it's like detective shows.
It's all detective shows, guys. Detective.
I have to say, I don't know, I'm not that impressed by the selection, to be honest.
It's all detective shows.
I mean, what do you think?
I mean...
This is a little Britbox review. We haven't had it for a while.
I mean, that's basically what they pump out.
Yeah.
You go to Britain,
ITV.
it's ITV. Pump out dramas.
Yeah.
Depressing dramas, as we'll talk about in a minute. And detective shows. And we watched... because years ago, we used to watch Death in Paradise. It's this BBC show about a detective in the Caribbean, you know, well, and his team in the Caribbean.
It's a lighthearted detective show.
It's a lighthearted detective show, you know, the classic kind of like Midsummer Murders in Paradise type thing. You know?
Where there's a murder every episode.
A murder every episode usually is like tourists to the island, you know. And
it's very Poirot-esque, isn't it?
It's kind of Poirot-esque. It's formulaic, as we like to say, you know. It's like, you know, everything that Agatha Christie created is there, you know.
Yeah.
So the character of Humphrey Goodman from the second DI that came to Death in Paradise, came to the show, he left, and apparently fans of the show liked him so much they were hoping he'd have a spin-off, and they gave him one. And they called it Beyond Paradise, and it's set in Cornwall. But it's set in Devon, but it's filmed in Cornwall.
Right, yeah.
I don't know why they wouldn't have filmed it in Devon. Because it's literally right next door, guys, you know. So it's set in a fictional town of Shipton Abbot. It's the same sort of thing. Except there's been very little murder. Yeah. It's usually just been mysteries.
I think maybe there was just like
maybe that was kind of like
a...
Because it's created by the same guy who created Death in Paradise, so I guess he thought, we can't just have the same thing, but in England.
Yeah.
Because, you know, people will get sick of this. Mm-hmm. Oh, someone got murdered. Who was it? Oh, it was the wife. Oh, it was the business partner.
Yeah.
You know, it's like... And there's just so much of that, you know. And there's murder in Provence with Roger Allam.
Oh, there's so many.
There's so many. MacDonald and Dodds, we watched that.
Yeah.
I mean, those are okay. Because, you know, it's like quirky detective meets up with a hard-hitting cop from London in Bath.
Yeah.
And it's good to watch to watch in Bath, you know.
Yeah.
Because we've been there now.
Yeah.
And you're all like, oh, I've been there, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, oh, we've been there.
That's great,
we walked down that street.
Walked down that street, that's great, yeah. Looks cute.
Wow. I like Bath.
But yes, so I decided, I'll pull up This England. And then when I saw it, I was like, oh, do I really want to watch this? Because it's about Boris Johnson and the pandemic.
Oh, God. I think that was my fault.
And you were like, yeah, let's watch Boris, yeah. And I was like, okay. And then when we started watching it, I thought, oh, I've kind of heard of this, or I've seen bits of this before.
Well, it was Kenneth Branagh,
Kenneth bloody Branagh, as I've talked about before.
Branagh playing Boris. I like Kenneth Branagh.
I kind of see him in the light of several other actors.
Meaning?
Who I've seen their opinions on Kenneth Branagh.
Yeah.
And directors who've seen their opinion, and I'm just kind of like, I can understand where they're coming from.
He's a bit full of himself? Is that what
bit
the idea
full of
is?
himself. He's got the money to kind of like have ego projects.
Yeah.
But this wasn't him.
Up his own you-know-what.
Up his own you-know-what, a little bit, yes. But this wasn't actually directed by him or scripted or anything by him.
Really, it felt very him, I thought.
But I'm sure it was kind of like, oh, we'll let you be Kenneth Branagh playing Boris Johnson.
First of all, he was wearing a really weird prosthetic.
He was wearing a big prosthetic
He didn't look like
mask.
Kenneth Branagh. Like, I kept searching, where is Kenneth Branagh
well.
in this? Where is he? Where is he? Like, looking at his eyes, like, oh, can I see Kenneth Branagh in there? I couldn't see him. So the prosthetic
You could hear him, though.
The prosthetic was really good. He didn't look like Boris.
He didn't look... Well,
he didn't look like himself, but he did not look like Boris.
The only time he looked like Boris is when he wasn't looking at the camera. They had the hair right. Whoever made the wig, they got Boris Johnson's hair straight from the source.
The prosthetic didn't sit right on his face. Like, I felt like,
his
particularly
eye was kind of
one eye, it just seemed like he was wearing... It looked like he was wearing a mask.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't... It was kind of like when they used to put prosthetic makeup on people to make them look old, and it looked like they were wearing a mask, like a Halloween mask. That's what he kind of looked like. Yeah. It didn't look like really good modern prosthetics, you know?
I mean, he had all the beats of Boris, Kenneth Branagh, but he didn't sound like him.
No, he didn't. Even with a stammer, he still didn't sound like Boris.
How Boris talks, and he's quoting Shakespeare, and he's quoting all this kind of stuff. And it's kind of like,
Shakespeare was so like, oh, there's Kenneth Branagh. I see him now.
Yeah, he wants to. This is why he wanted to do it, because and he made Boris kind of like a sympathetic figure.
You said that. You said that the reviews were saying, oh, they didn't like it because I didn't find him sympathetic particularly.
Likeable. They try to make him likeable.
You're not going to like this, and any British people we have listening are not going to like this, but I always find him as a person kind of likable. I kind of like him. He's so goofy. He's so like, he's
walking like a penguin.
I'm not talking about his ideas about anything, but just like his personality's just so goofy. I find him kind of likable. I'm not talking about his position on policy or any of that kind of anything.
As a government employee and as Prime Minister, he was largely terrible.
Oh, he was terrible.
I mean, and this showed
he had no business being Prime Minister.
No business at all being Prime Minister.
Well, how could you put him as Prime Minister? Like, the only thing that comes to mind
it's the same kind of
is
thing
him hanging there. Him hanging there in the park when he was mayor
and everybody
of London.
just walked off.
Nobody cared that the mayor of London is hanging over their heads, like stuck on a zip line.
It was a zip line for the 2012 Olympics. And he was like, it's going to do this, whoa. And then it just kind of petered out.
It just stopped. And he was just hanging there, and no one cared. It was just the best, like, most British thing for, like, everybody's just like, oh, yeah, the mayor's up there, right?
Yes, Boris. He was hanging up there for half an hour or so.
But that was so. But that went with his personality. It's just like, okay, yeah, of course, Boris is like hanging in the zip line. And then it's like, oh, let's make that guy Prime Minister. Like,
God. Because he's talking for the working people. Oh, he's a funny guy. Yeah, put him in there. Let's see what happens.
He was great, and I think you enjoy him on Have I Got News for You, though.
Well, I mean, yeah, because they were all taking the piss out of him.
But he can handle it. You know what I mean?
Well, he has to handle it. He's a politician.
No, some of them cannot handle it.
Oh, no, the ones who...
They get pissed off and they get grumpy and they get kind of like, you know. He indignant. Just kind of like, he could laugh at himself on there. And I think that was one of the things that made me like him, because that was the very first place I ever saw him, was on Have I Got News for You.
Yes.
And I just kind of liked how he was able to make fun of himself, you know? Anyway, we didn't spend the whole time talking about Boris Johnson, so...
I mean, the show This England, it was basically about the COVID-19 pandemic, how he had a special advisor in Dominic Cummings who was basically just a blogger who really was just looking at the data
Yeah.
and find out about the data and what's the data saying. And he was a bit of a tyrant, you know. And
I thought you were going to say another word that started with a T.
He was a bit of that too, but he was a bit of a tyrant in Number 10 and, you know, with all the rest of them. And, you know, people...
He was a little Elon Muskish, wasn't he?
Well, yes.
Like,
I mean,
he
all
was
this
the
has
one that was
happened
giving
before.
he was the one that was giving all the order. I mean, that's the way the show made it. That's the way the series made it.
Yeah, because Boris just wanted to go off and be with Carrie.
Be with his girlfriend, yeah.
Oh, she's having a baby. Oh, yes. And quote, go here. Go, you know?
Yes.
All that kind of stuff. He just wants to bugger off.
Mm-hmm.
Go to the...
Well, as I said, he should never have been.
And then he got COVID.
Yeah.
And he was in, and everybody thought, oh, this is it, you know.
Yeah.
And I bet Dominic Cummings thought, oh, I'm onto something here. I could be Prime Minister.
Well, he
couldn't have been. He was a member of the civil service.
Well,
and
well,
who
no,
he was trying to get rid of.
Well, no, he wasn't
even a member of the civil service. Actually, I think he was just a special advisor.
He wasn't even there though. He had gone off to Durham. He was on holiday. You know, it's just like he wasn't worried a bit about the fact that Boris was.
Everyone
in
get into lockdown except me.
Yeah. Yes.
But yes, it was it was a hard watch.
Oh my God!
Because
they do not recommend it.
they dispersed that kind of like thick of it, kind of like documentary style with what was going on in the care homes and what was going on in the homes and stuff, and people being in the hospitals and people. And they intercut it
with actual news footage.
Actual news footage, but also like acting and, you know, people dying, and it was a bit like Threads meets the thick of it. It's a hard watch. It's if you can stomach it, you can to watch him play Boris.
It was all too recent. I don't know.
Yeah, it came out in 2022, so everybody kind of panned it and said, "Get it out of here," because
nobody wants to see that.
Lockdown literally ended just a year ago.
Yeah, probably within months. Because they had another lockdown in 2021, didn't they?
Well, yeah, they had like a third lockdown.
Yeah, so it's just like, I can't believe that came out in 2022. Absolutely no way. 2025 was too soon to be reminded of all of that, you know? Yeah. It was just horrible. I mean, it actually was quite well done. It
was pretty well done, you know, but again,
just the content was hard to watch.
It was just the wrong time, and I mean, in future years, people can look back on it and see. 20 years from now, fine, sure. They should have just made it and then just kept it in the vault, you know. Yes.
Yeah, we do not recommend, unless you want to be like thoroughly depressed and relive COVID,
relive the glory days
of
COVID. Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to relive those.
We were
days.
Like halfway through it, and I was like, "Why are we watching this?"
Yes. Yeah, so Cayenne and Carrie Simons was there.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it was terrible. Ophelia Lovibond played Carrie Simons. Yeah, so there you go. Next up on the agenda, though, we watched is My Boy Jack, which is from 2007, and I think it was Daniel Radcliffe's first role outside of the Harry Potter series. You know,
since he started
doing Harry Potter, yeah.
Really?
I think so. I think because everybody made a big deal about it at the time. Because, he's going to be in this ITV show called My Boy Jack.
Yeah.
And it's based on David Haig, the actor who played Inspector Grimm in The Thin Blue Line. He wrote a play in 1997 about Rudyard Kipling and his family dealing with their youngest boy, Jack Kipling, or John Kipling, as he was known. That's his real name, but they called him Jack.
Yeah.
Enlisting in World War I. And Daniel Radcliffe played him, and, you know, he was doing a great job. I mean, you know, because a lot of people slate him because of the Harry Potter films and everything, but he did a great job in that. David Haig played Rudyard, and Kim Cattrall played his wife, Caroline. Yeah, Carey Mulligan was in it.
Yeah, Carey Mulligan was his sister.
Kipling's daughter, Elsie Bird. Yeah, and it was good.
It was good. It was depressing again.
It was depressing.
It was not quite as bad as COVID, but, you know, World War I, so it wasn't exactly like a party. Daniel's acting was very good.
Yeah,
I think.
I liked it.
I'm trying to think
I like
now,
it, Daniel.
where
Let's
they
see
would have
more of
been
it.
in the Harry Potter series at that time. Maybe they had probably, his last one had been the Order of the Phoenix, maybe?
2007, I think it was.
So
Half-Blood Prince was 2009, wasn't it?
I can't remember, but I think
remember
it was
we went
somewhere.
to see Half-Blood Prince in the cinema.
Yeah.
So it was about 2009.
So yeah. And you mentioned his acting. His acting has gotten.
Well, it's gotten better because
obviously.
he went on the stage, yeah. And
Yeah,
I mean,
I mean,
that's
he was
where
a
you get better as an actor, is on the stage, I
He
think.
was awkward in the first few Harry Potters. Like, I don't think anybody can deny that.
And then it came a
but
point...
by the last ones, he was fine. He was an actor then, you know.
Yeah, he was Harry Potter. I think in the middle time, maybe Order of the Phoenix.
I think he was fine in Order of the Phoenix. Yeah.
Prisoner of Azkaban, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. What are you meaning?
Just the kind of like...
when he started...
the directors were just letting him be himself and letting him,
Yeah.
not saying, let's do that again,
Oh, right.
Let's do a retake, because there were certain scenes where he was pretty wooden and terrible.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was just kind of like, okay, yeah, they could have had him do that again, but they probably didn't, because they thought, oh, he's Harry Potter, he's got success under his belt now,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, watch it if you're into World War I stuff, or if you like any of the actors that we just mentioned. It was not bad. I don't think I would say it was my favorite thing I've ever seen, but it was fine.
Yeah. I mean, what is your favorite thing you've ever seen?
I don't know.
Yeah, there's so many. There's so many.
There's a lot, yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've started watching this like 3-part serial starring David Mitchell and Robert Webb. It's from 2013. It's called Ambassadors.
Yes. You know them if you've seen
Peep Show.
Peep Show, yeah, that's it.
And I think they've been in like other things too, together. But yeah, they star together. It's like a 3-part comedy serial about the lives of the British Embassy British Embassy workers in the fictional Central Asian nation of Tajikistan. So, I think that's, I mean, the first episode seems funny. The second, we haven't got to the second episode yet, but...
No, it's just 3 parts, is it?
Just 3 parts, yeah.
Oh.
They're quite long. It's about an hour long.
And when is it from?
2013.
2013. So that's the most recent thing we've
recent thing we've watched. Well, no, This England is 2022.
Oh, that was more recent. Yeah. Right, yeah.
2013, didn't know what COVID was back then.
God, yeah.
The heady days. Pre-COVID life.
But yeah, so all of these things are on Britbox if you have Britbox and are looking for something to watch.
Highly recommend Beyond Paradise too, though, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you need something to watch.
If you need something to watch.
Again, it's
Humphrey!
It's not my absolute favorite thing, but it's something to put on, It's fine. Sometimes you just need something easy to watch,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so, I don't know, recommend us, if you do have Britbox, like, let us know what you... I swear that we were looking for something one time when we didn't have Britbox. And, like, Britbox was the only place that had it, and we didn't get it. But now I don't remember what that was. And looking through Britbox, it's a bit...
It's a little bit of a mess.
Oh, it's a messy site compared to some of the others. But
it's a little bit like, it's all the same kind of stuff. And then, of course, you got the stuff from, like, Yonks. Like Blackadder and Only Fools and Horses and stuff like that. It's mainly just to put that on there.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, that's where it belongs, because it's a British show,
Mm.
And the stuff in like the Play for Today and all that kind of stuff, they've just basically somewhere to put all their archive online.
Yeah.
But yes, no, I mean, I don't know. There's Britbox Originals. But I don't know if they can really be called that, because, I mean, it's ITV,
Yeah. Well, it's probably stuff that comes on ITV.
Yeah.
You mean?
I mean, I'm not sure if...
They might make some of their own stuff. I mean, all the rest of the streaming services do.
Oh, maybe.
But then, and then it probably airs on
Yeah.
ITV or whatever. But maybe it originated on Britbox, you know?
Yeah. I think that's what they're talking about doing now.
I don't know. I haven't had
BBC,
a really, deep look through it. But when I've seen you scrolling through it, it's just kind of like, oh... I haven't seen too much that I'm like, ooh, that looks good. Or,
you haven't seen too many period dramas.
That's what I'm looking for, you think, is it?
Looking for, like, what's that, a period drama?
Maybe, I don't know. I seem to think there wasn't, Downton Abbey was ITV, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it's not on there.
No, I guess because they've got, PBS have still got some stake in it, so they don't want to give it up and put it on Britbox.
What do they have, Downton Abbey? Netflix?
I think it's on Netflix, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I just haven't been too impressed with what I've seen. Like, it's not one that I think I would need to have all the time. Be subscribed to all the time, you know? You probably like it for, like, oh, Blackadder, if I'm not in... If nothing else is, like... You know, I can just put on Blackadder, like some people put on Friends. Or, you know, stuff like that. But as far as just, like, new things to watch, like, nothing looks really great to me, anyway.
Yeah.
But let us know. Let us know if you have Britbox and we have not mentioned something that you're just like, oh, you're screaming, you know, like, what about this? Because we're dying. You know, we've got this for
We're dying here.
We've got this for the rest of the month, at least.
Yeah. We got stars for that couple next door. We're watching that. And
well, we got it so we could watch this season of Outlander.
Yeah, and we talked about that, so...
Yeah, and then Outlander finished, and the show with Sam Heughan and... What's her name? Demelza. Oh. Demelza from Poldark. Demelza from Poldark.
Yeah, no, her name just went out of my head.
And Dean Thomas from Harry Potter.
Alfred Enoch, I know his name.
Yeah, it's just like one of those... Again, I think it's going to be like a psychological kind of
Yes,
thing.
it's a bit Harlan Coben, and we talked about that. It's like that's Hallmark for people who like thrillers, Harlan Coben, isn't it?
That's a good way to put it,
It's the same kind of like formula, you know. It's like, what's happening here? Has he had an affair? Oh no, he's had an affair with his own mother or some silly thing.
God.
It's some weird...
You just had to go there, didn't you?
Well, that's where they go, and it's just got, this is weird, man. What is going on? It's like,
I mean...
And it was like, oh, and then they're running in a field or something. It's just like, what? Why?
Anyway.
And it's always the same, and it's always Richard Armitage, isn't it? Poor old Richard Armitage.
But anyway, Stars is another one that's like, I don't know, I wouldn't really recommend it for like a whole year's worth of a subscription, but, you know, just
Stars.
If there's something on there that you want to see particularly, then, you know, get it and binge it for the month. I really recommend that for most of the streaming services. Like, there are very few of them that I would keep for a whole year.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's been okay also to watch. We haven't really found anything lately within the last couple months that we've been like, oh, that was so good. Have we?
Not really, no.
No, it's all just been kind of like, something to watch, really.
Something to watch.
Yeah,
There's
something new to
that's
watch.
been really, like, you know...
Not that I can remember, anyway.
Tickling our TV taste buds. There you go.
Oh my god. Anyway, let's talk about the Grammys.
The Grammys. You've all been waiting. The Grammys. We didn't watch them.
No.
I mean, why we don't watch Grammys anymore.
Well, I really used to be someone who, like, the Grammys are on, I have to watch the Grammys.
Yeah, it used to be someone about the Oscars too.
Yeah,
I remember one year and they had that creepy music when everybody was walking up, and I was like, "What is this?
What?
Is that creepy music they played?"
The things you can remember, I don't even know what you're talking about.
I can't remember which one it was, but it was like, and it was the Oscars.
No, I used to like, when I was like a kid and a teenager, the MTV Video Music Awards.
Yes.
Yeah. Or the MTV Movie Awards. Yeah, it was all about the award shows. Golden Globes was fun because usually everybody would go up and accept an award and they're all drunk, you know, because they've been sitting at the tables, like, chatting it up with each other. Yeah, but, you know...
Maybe it was the Golden Globes that had the creepy music.
I'm becoming less and
drunk.
less enchanted by famous people, though.
Yeah. Get famous people out of here. I just want TikTok people now.
Less and less enchanted with celebrities because it's just like, you know... I don't
More
know.
TikTok
I
people.
just don't... It's just like, I just don't care. You know what I mean? Like, there's people who really follow... I say this in the same breath, and we've been following the Justin Baldoni and and Blake Lively thing, like, quite closely. It's just wrong.
I mean, we haven't been really following that closely. It's just been shoved in our faces by pretty much everywhere.
I guess so.
Kind
of like the Grammys.
Kind of like the Grammys, well, yeah.
Yeah, because we did not watch them.
Trevor Noah hosted it. He's been hosting it for the last couple of years,
Oh my God,
think.
I didn't know. Well, first of all, I
apparently
didn't
his
even know the
hosting is
Grammys
going
were...
down well.
First of all, I didn't even have any idea that the Grammys were on.
Yeah.
Did you? Like,
yeah.
did you see any advertisement or anything for them?
It was very somber because of the wildfires.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like, it's just going to be a somber toned event, you know.
I remember that I remember them saying, like, during the fires, we're gonna cancel them.
Yeah, and they did, and then they were like, oh no, we shouldn't cancel them, we should have the firefighter, because they invited squads of firefighters to walk the red carpet.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Well, that's nice.
Yeah, and meet all the people that were turning up, you know.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, you mentioned Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah, he's a South African comedian.
The first time we saw him, we really liked him.
Yeah, he was funny.
Were we watching, like,
Live
was
at
it
the
in Britain,
Hammersmith.
or was it on the... I felt like it was on the airplane or something.
No, it was in Britain. It was live at the Hammersmith. You know, that's kind of like a comedy, kind of like showcase.
Yeah. He's South African. I thought he was British.
Yeah. I mean, he's South African, and
Yeah.
he was making fun of the British colonies and all that. You know, he makes those kind of jokes. Then he became host of The Daily Show, wasn't he?
I think so, yeah.
And then Jon Stewart took it back.
Yeah. Because everybody was like,
Yeah, he's just not landing too well. And he got this gig at the Grammys. And it's going down well. The BBC think his hosting's kind of setting the tone, and he's okay. Apparently, he made a couple of jokes that were a little bit like, okay.
Yeah, no, I saw everybody ripping him on TikTok.
Everyone's ripping Trevor Noah now, is he?
Yeah, he made a joke
about Shakira.
About immigrants, too.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, something about immigrants, and then he said Shakira was the only good thing to come out of Colombia that wasn't illegal, or something like that.
He's making a... Yeah, I mean, I can understand where he's coming from. You know, he's making a joke kind of like us both sides of the aisle. It's just a joke, you know?
Yeah. But
it's like, I'm not going to take... it's like, oh, yeah, he's terrible. He punched down. He could have punched up. And
yeah.
It's like...
Well, I am of that. I'm of that. I do not think that now is the time to punch down whatsoever when there's so many, like... So much going on, you know?
Yes.
To ordinary, everyday working people, I just don't think that is, especially in a room where everybody in there, like, has more money than everybody. Well, yeah,
a lot of people were saying that. It's like,
home.
oh, yeah, they all kept asking us to donate money for the wildfires and stuff like that, when you've got all those rich people in the room.
Yeah.
And they could rebuild LA in a day with the money they have.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, then.
Yeah.
Make them do that then.
Well, it's like, all right, don't donate then if you don't want to. I mean, yeah, I guess it just seems a little bit...
just keep playing the creepy music until they feel guilty enough to do it.
I think it just seems a little tone deaf, maybe.
Yes.
You know, with everything that's been going on in the news, too, then. It's just like, yeah, obviously it's terrible, and obviously it was not just celebrities and stuff whose homes burned in California, but... with everything that's kind of going on at the moment, you're gonna, I don't know. At the same time, they have to raise money, don't they? You know? I don't know. I don't know what the answer is, but anyway. I saw a lot of people quite unhappy with what they saw. Apparently also, like, no celebrities except for Shakira, I think, said anything about anything that's going on.
No. Which,
I feel two ways about that. Because when they do, I get people being upset that they're not, like, using their platforms or whatever when there's a lot going on, you know, to make a statement, because they do have such a big audience. But I can also see that when they do make a statement, everybody throws a fit. Oh, yes. Why are they making a statement? Why are they talking about this?
They shouldn't talk about that.
They should just stick to singing, you know? It's just like, oh, God, they can't win, you know?
Yeah, they give the old Dr. Phil, you don't know what you're talking about, you know?
Yes.
But the thing is, I think at this point now, because everyone expects them to make a statement, and then they don't. So they go, oh, they didn't make a statement, how dare they? But then they expect them to make a statement. Oh, it's not the statement that I wanted. You know, oh.
Yeah.
And the thing is, a statement at an award show, it doesn't really mean anything anymore.
Yeah. No.
I mean, it did, you know, now that the internet is prevalent, it's like everyone's going to be doing that. You know, everyone's fighting to make their statement.
Yeah. It's like you can make your statement on the internet.
It's not Sacheen Littlefeather coming on to reject Marlon Brando's Oscar for The Godfather.
Yeah.
Because that was something, it was like, oh, everybody remembers that, and it was like, oh, yeah, it was a big thing. And
yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. But nowadays, if that happened, people would just be like, oh, okay, you know?
Yeah. Yes.
You know?
Well, because, as you say, like, the internet exists now. If they want to make a statement, they can make a statement on their social media or whatever. And it's there, always, for people to see and to comment on and to share into whatever, you know, like we didn't watch the awards show, and I just now thought to ask Instagram if any of our followers watched it, so I didn't really give people time to reply before we started recording this.
Oh, yeah.
But we did get a few replies, and the replies that we got, nope, none of them watched.
It's all too modern for me.
One reply was that I didn't watch as I was planning my victory garden. Because Mr. Idiot wants to tax our winter fruit. Someone else said, didn't watch, I didn't recognize most of the artists. And then someone else said, way too modern in my opinion.
There we go, way too modern.
Yeah.
Too many modern people.
Yeah.
Too many young people.
Basically the same
highlights of the night, I think, was Sabrina Carpenter doing her little...
yes, I saw that on TikTok. That was so good.
You know.
But we're kind of suckers for, like, old-fashioned type stuff like that. And she did it very well.
She did Me Espresso and then like a little jazz number, and it was like and then she went into the actual song.
It's
apparently
like a little
the set collapsed.
Bit.
There was a bit where the set collapsed and she had to jump into a dancer's arms because, you know...
Oh, yeah. So we didn't watch the whole thing.
We didn't watch the whole thing. Yeah, no, because it cut off.
Oh, surely that was part of the bit. I mean, like how, you know, she got lowered down into the stairs.
I think it was a serious kind of like the set collapsed because it was shoddily built.
What? Oh, we'll have to look that up.
We'll have to look it up or something, yeah. I mean, you know, I've no idea. And she jumped in at the line. She was like, haha, laughing, but, you know.
That must have been part of it.
You hope.
Because the whole shtick was that, oh, everything's going wrong. You know, the background singers go, someone's getting fired.
Because they wouldn't, take off her clothes.
Because they wouldn't they're going to get fired because they won't take off her clothes.
Yes. Speaking of taking off clothes.
Oh, no.
Kanye West and his wife Bianca Censori walked the red carpet, and Bianca took off her fur coat to reveal a sheer bodysuit.
Ugh, who cares?
And there was nothing left to the imagination. You could see everything.
Yeah.
Nothing was censoried.
When it... Ha ha. Yes.
Reports say they were kicked out.
Yeah.
And people say they were kicked out, but actually, no, he just wanted to come onto the red carpet, do that, and then he got in his car and left.
Yes. Yeah, no, apparently Entertainment Tonight reported that they had been kicked out because they hadn't been invited, and everybody was just like, well, he was nominated, so...
he lost as well. He lost his nominations.
Taylor Swift lost everything,
Yeah,
too.
Billie Eilish lost everything, too.
Did she really?
They were so mad. Big bitching going on back there stage, apparently.
What?
Yeah,
really?
Taylor Swift, she was so annoyed.
You're just making stuff up.
she said she had thousands of packages of squashies.
Now, the Kanye West
and
thing...
her career is over now.
The only thing I think about the whole Kanye West thing is, like, his wife is basically a Kim Kardashian clone. Like, it's super weird.
She's AI, apparently, people think. And you know, they just glitched, you know, like the nude glitch in some games, you know. It's like, oh no, get her in the car quick, go home. She's ruined it. Go.
Oh God, it's just so attention-seeking.
It's supposed to be me. It's supposed to be my body.
People were going, oh, she showed up completely nude. I'm just like rolling my eyes. Like, who cares, please? Everybody should be showing up nude at this point. I mean, we've seen worse. That's been going on for years. Remember when Lil' Kim, I can't remember, was it the Grammys? When she came out with her boob out? And she just had the...
That wasn't Lil' Kim, that was Janet Jackson.
No, it wasn't. That was at the Super Bowl. No,
yes.
Lil' Kim wore an outfit that was designed, and her one of her breasts was hanging out, and she just had like a little pasty over the nipple.
I mean, that was the same. That's the same thing that happened with.
Yeah.
So you know.
I mean, well, hers was like a piercing through it.
Just ripped it off, and there was like a little.
It was like a piercing.
Yeah.
So, but yes, basically that was the same thing. But that was before I think that was before the Lil' Kim thing. And the Lil' Kim thing was kind of like, oh, you know.
It's a nod to that. They'd be like, oh, look at her being Janet Jackson. Cute.
And it's just like, I don't know. At this point, it's 2025. Okay, you want to show up naked in front of everyone?
That's right. Get your baps out, love.
Sure. Go ahead. You know, like,
I mean, they should just all be naked at that point,
yeah.
Well, they should. Just turn up all naked.
Just be naked.
I
mean, their outfits
Everyone
are all...
naked on stage.
Their outfits are all half naked at this point anyway. Like,
just cover the seats with...
Oh,
you know, like your grandmother used to do, like, you know, just like cover everything, you know, in plastic sheeting.
You just spray it all down.
Spray it all down. Have the COVID people come in, spray it all down with the masks.
That gives new meaning to the. Just picture the audience naked. No worries there.
You have to picture them all clothed.
You don't have to be nervous then. Oh God, but yeah, I mean, so those were some of the big headlines. Beyonce won for
best. Yes, Beyonce, Cowboy Carter. She finally won her first Best Album Grammy. Was that her first ever Grammy at all?
No, I don't. Surely not.
Because people keep going on about this.
Yeah.
You know, like Jay-Z's really annoyed. Oh, she didn't win the Grammy. And it's like, surely she's got Grammys.
For Best Album.
Kanye's got Grammys too.
I think it was like, she had never won the Best Album Grammy. So that was... Because
Adele apparently won over her one year, and she was all like, oh, Lemonade was such a great album, I think I'll give mine back to,
that was the whole thing. Like, everybody thanks Beyonce when they win an award.
Thank you, Beyonce.
Thank you, Beyonce, yeah.
Harry Styles' album, Harry's House, won over her last...
Yeah.
And people were kind of like, oh, that's a bit of a reach.
Oh, no, I don't think so. I think people were like, yeah, that was a pretty popular album. I mean, you heard it on the radio all the time.
Taylor Swift last year?
The one that... yeah. I think people were like, that one could have been, because, you know. But I think the main one that won over her one year was Beck. Beck's album won over her, and everybody was like,
That was 2022, I think.
Yeah.
And they were like, Beck hasn't been a thing for 20-odd years. I thought he was dead. I thought Beck was dead.
I thought he was dead.
Yeah, people were all like,
Beck, you know. I thought you was dead.
God's sake, Beck, what you doing? He's like, yeah, won Best Album. I wasn't even nominated.
Yeah.
Someone just said, oh, yeah, give it to anyone. Anyone but Beyonce, and here I am. But yeah, she won it this time. Cowboy Carter. So everyone was thrilled. Jay-Z didn't have to do his...
I saw a lot of people going, what? You know.
But someone who should be outraged is Babyface.
Oh.
On the red carpet, he was shunned by the Associated Press in favour of Chappell Roan, who was dressed up like Roger Moore in Octopussy.
Babyface, who's been in the game for, 40 years, probably. And Chappell Roan, who's been in the game,
for 40 minutes.
She's been making music. She has been making music for...
She's been working late.
I think she's only 20-something,
because she's a singer.
But she has been making music. But she's only been, like, mainstream, let's say, for 5 minutes compared to Babyface.
She won. I think she won a Grammy as well. She took home an award. Or maybe she just performed.
I want to know, like, what did she think about that? I would like to hear what she thought about that. Because I can't imagine she would have thought that was cool. She's quite outspoken for
She probably didn't realize,
the BS. No, I do not think. Looking at that video, I don't think she.
Yeah, because she had all this stuff. She was wearing. She had to kind of like negotiate her way over to the
big flowy dress.
Like, Chappell, come over here, yeah.
I'm sure she thought their
big
interview
mates
was
with Taylor
done.
Swift.
She must have seen him standing there. She probably thought, oh, the interview's done. They're calling me over now. I'm sure she never in a million years would have thought they were like literally had just asked him one question, didn't even let him get like just a couple words out. Unbelievable. It's like, to me, it doesn't even matter who he was. He could have been anybody. That was just so rude.
Yes.
That was just unbelievably rude.
Oh, you want to talk to her? Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and he just handled it like...
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
The thing is, it was Taylor who...
I would have just gone home at that point. I would have been like, screw you all.
It was Taylor Swift who announced that Beyonce won Best Album.
Yeah.
She had the opportunity to do the funniest thing there.
What?
She had the opportunity, and the Best Album goes to Blake Lively. Blake Lively, and it ends with us.
No,
we're over, Blake.
Oh, I'm sorry, Beyonce, but I'll let you talk in a minute, but Blake should have won.
Blake should have won. I looked at her rewrites. They were great.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
You guys, let us know if you're following that Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni thing. What an absolute mess.
Well, they're all trying to, like, pile on Ryan Reynolds now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's the villain. He's the Blofeld in all this.
Yeah.
He's controlling
Which, I mean, he may be. We don't know him,
Well, has he got an underground volcano lair? We need to know this. Blake needs to speak up. Rob McElhenney needs to speak up.
Sharks with freaking laser
He must
beams.
be getting so much flack now, Rob McElhenney.
Why?
He's mates with Ryan Reynolds.
Well, he can't control Ryan Reynolds, can he?
I think he can. I think he should, and I think he can.
Oh my gosh.
It's up to you now, Rob.
Anyways. Was that it? Was there any more news?
I think that was it. I mean, Taylor had 6 nominations and she didn't win a thing.
I know. Unbelievable.
That's it. Career over, isn't it? The Swifties are deserting her in droves.
Yeah, you said that. I said, oh, Taylor didn't win anything last night, apparently. He said, oh, well, that's her done, isn't it?
That's her done. She's got to leave now.
She's just going to marry her football player boyfriend and go have
settle down.
We'll never
and then she'll
do.
And then years from now, she'll do a movie, and then he'll have to step in because she won't let her rewrite the show because she wants to direct it. She'll be like, wait a minute, this is seeming all a little bit too familiar here.
Anyway. Hope you enjoyed this episode.
Yes!
Let us know what you watch on Britbox if you have a subscription. Let us know if you watched the Grammys. What other moments did we miss? Because, we didn't watch, so we've only seen what we saw on social media and in the news. What TikTok you read on the BBC.
Yeah. It was a rundown.
Give us a follow on social media if you don't follow us already. We are at TButty, TEABUTTY, across all socials. Shout out to our patrons for their continued support. We really, really, really appreciate all of you guys, and we'll talk to everybody next time.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.